seems that we focus on a specific age group from about 25 to let's say about 40, 45. We don't speak to maybe people who are a little bit earlier on, who's getting into the dating market and trying to figure this thing out because we didn't have coaches and instructors when we were growing up, right? And then you have the older community who are not used to dealing with a coach to a degree. They're more set, well, my mom and dad did it this way. I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing it this way. It's not working, but how come it worked for them, but it's not working for me? Not taking consideration that the generation is different, the time is different, the way we operate in relationships are different. So I find it really interesting and intriguing and amazing that you're focusing on these groups of people. How important is it in your opinion to focus on a group that maybe doesn't necessarily have the same tools that the younger generation of us may have today?
I think in terms of the older generation, like you said, that's how our parents used to do it. And in fact, I just had a conversation with someone who's been happily married for over 30 years and is used to the people getting married young and staying together and that kind of thing. But surprisingly, it is older couples that are divorcing at a higher rate than the younger couples. And it is because they are at a point in their lives where we now have longer life expectancy and people have more quality of life. And they're coming to terms with the fact that they should try to be happy, that this is a good time. It's actually always a good time to try to be happy and to fulfill their lives. And I'm finding that, at least in my case, my clientele is predominantly women in their 60s and more. And they didn't have those tools, like you said, and they are developing a different understanding because there's a lot of stuff out there now, and they have more of an opportunity to compare and to evaluate what their relationships are like and what they would like their lives to be. So it is a group that I'm working with very closely. But what I'm also finding is that I'm coming across a lot of very young people, and they're in the dating stage. They are at an earlier point in their lives. And many of them have already had toxic relationships and they're looking to change those patterns. So I think the need is there for people of all ages, and the tools are the same. Whether or not we had access to them previously is really of no consequence. I think the tools are available. I'm making tools available for people of any age, and they can help them at any stage of their relationships or their lives.
What about the people who would look and say, well, the person is in their 50s, 60s, and maybe even 70s, and their marriage is ending. It's coming to a completion. What do you say to the group of people who would view them and ask the question, what's the point? You're old enough, right? Like you've probably had those kind of conversations. So when that comes out, how do you tackle that? Or not necessarily tackle the person saying it, how do you empower the person hearing it?
First of all, my big mantra is you deserve to be happy. And you can be happy at any age. And you deserve to be happy right here, right now. Whatever time you have left on this planet, make the most of it. Don't don't get obsessed with how much time you have invested in a relationship. And I think that's where sometimes people go wrong, that they think, oh, I have invested all this time, why leave now? If you are that unhappy, you deserve to start creating that happiness. It's never too late, and you're never too old, and we are living older lives. And if you follow my page, you will find that I'm always collecting stories about people who get married in the nursing home in their 90s. I love those stories. Or people in their hundreds. For God's sake, you deserve to enjoy whatever life brings your way instead of just overanalyzing, how long I have been married or how many kids I have or how many accounts we would have to divide. It's all about creating for yourself an opportunity for joy and self-expression.
I agree. I think it comes to the point where don't feel that just because you've reached a certain milestone, either in age or in the length of a relationship, thinking that you can't start over, because that's the whole definition of it, right? Starting over, it's just you realizing that At this point in my life, at this point in my relationship, at this point of the time in the day, it's not for me anymore. And just because it isn't for you doesn't mean you hate this person, doesn't mean this person is the
Mm-hmm.
antichrist. It just means that you're taking your life in a direction that this person is no longer able to accompany you.